I just want to give a quick note to everybody at the stable. You guys have already received your videos, but it went without a header. And I wanted to make sure that you had your opening video, but that opening video was shot yesterday. And I just wanted to tell everybody, and most particularly today especially, my partners in the Sintra group, how proud I was of everybody the entire way with Sintra. Here's a horse that he won in 153 his last start. We could have patched him up and raced him all fall and all winter long, and was still worth quite a bit of money. But when push came to shove, he was a little off on that left hind ankle. It wasn't going to get better. It was going to start nagging him for a while, and when the corks came on, it was certainly going to hurt him. And for us to be able to, as a group, sit down collectively and unanimously agree to turn out Sintra and retire him, I don't know that you could put 30 people together to agree to do that in that situation. And I couldn't be any more proud than I am of all my partners and also the people at the stable, just because most people in the barn are very like-minded. And to do the right thing for a horse like Sintra sounds easy, but it's not always that easy. And I truly appreciate everything you've done for that horse, for my family, and everyone else. So on display last night was the history of Sintra, what he meant to our family, myself, McDonald's, and the stable family, and what he meant to the Maneri family. But more particularly, what was on display last night was how the stable operates and how, I don't know the best way to put it, how we try the best we can to be on the right side of the moral compass. So I truly appreciate everything you've done and everything you do, and I wanted to make sure that everybody knew that moving forward. Now, we will give everybody an update quickly of last night also, that you're here. Nothing But a Dreamer was a winner, and I told everybody, I heard a couple of messages. Does this mean we're keeping him? Does this mean he's staying? And here's the thing. I need everybody to understand, and most people get it. I know you see a horse that wheels off 5 in a row and has won 11 races or whatever, you're like, oh, you got to keep that horse. But you guys have to understand the playing field moving forward when it comes to that type of horse. And I was explaining this to Harry today, and he already knew. We were just discussing it. When you looked at Resolute Bay and you looked at Looks Like Money, on paper, not super different, right, heading into October. Yes, the pedigree of Looks Like Money was quite deeper. When you looked at where he'd raced, it was quite deeper. But the achievements, what they've actually done, weren't that different. But when push comes to shove, they're quite different animals, right? Looks Like Money is a horse that can elevate and will. I have a video, actually. We're going to send a video out to everybody of Looks Like Money. Just a couple of snippets of him training. He looked fantastic training Saturday. Looks amazing. And although Resolute Bay is an overcomer, he's an overachiever, and he will be a good horse for a long time. Two very, very different engines. Two very, very different machines. And what we want to move away from, and Resolute Bay would be the top end of the food chain when it came to those 3-year-olds that we keep over till 4, right? That was a tricky one. Renegade Gypsy and Resolute Bay were tough, right? Most of the 3-year-olds, and Looks Like Nothing But a Dreamer is not Resolute Bay, nor is he Renegade Gypsy. Just so we're clear. I know you're going to say, oh, he won in 53. Very nice horse. But not there yet. And he is getting better. Harry said, well, he's getting better. You're right, he is getting better. Still not there yet. And what we need to try and understand is the difference, the distinct difference between a 3-year-old turning 4 and a 4-year-old and a horse turning 4 that we want to keep over. All the 3-year-olds are going to turn 4. Where are they going to go, and what are they going to do in their 4-year-old season? That's a tough one to crack, right? It's tough not to crack. We don't know what they're going to do. But as we gather information together, we start to understand and see moving forward how difficult that 4-year-old transition is for everyone. Both the okay horses, the mediocre horses, the good, the great, the very, very good horses, and even the top of the food chain horses. It's a difficult transition into the age ranks. So we need to understand how that looks, what we need it to look like, and how we can traverse that path better, right? How we can manage that better. So for Nothing But a Dreamer, a very nice horse. He's going to do a lot of good for somebody down the road. But for us, a lot of wins and a lot of money made. As a 3-year-old, he's heading into a straight race, he'll do good in. But after that, I don't know. Can he do in the 50 claimer? Maybe, yep. And if he can do in the 50 claimer, that's awesome. If he can't, that's a real problem. Now we've narrowed Ontario at least down to one path for Nothing But a Dreamer. And he is. And I know there's people that say, no, he can do here. He can't. He can't do that. He can do one place, and one place only. And 50 claim. He's not going to do it in the hours of 5. He's going to get his head beat in the hours of 5. It's just not going to happen. So you can do the 50 or you can't do it all. So now you have to look outside of Ontario. We have horses in those classes, right? And when you can't race in the optional 40, it's an hours of 10. He's already got 11 pari-mutuel wins. So now you're getting into a little bit of a problem. So not only is there one path in Ontario for him, there may only be one path for him. And I know that everybody wants to believe that he's a better horse than he is, but I think we all have to step back and look at this in a very constructive way and say, okay, what is he and what is he not? The horses he's beaten right now are numbers of 2 horses. They're not great horses. And they're certainly not horses that are going to dominate the 50 to 60 claim. And I'm not trying to say that Nothing But a Dreamer is not a good horse, because he is a very good horse. But he's not as good as Renegade Gypsy was at the end of his 3-year-old season. And he is not as good as Resolute Bay. And both of those horses in particular have struggled all the way through to the fall of 2023. Renegade Gypsy now has just come on and now is racing really well and has found his way into even the Open at Indiana. But 4 weeks ago, that was a tall ask, right? That was a big, big jump. He did it, just like he did last fall. Now I'm waiting for Resolute Bay to do the same thing. But regardless of how they do it or when they do it, that's a long time. That's 1 year from when we could have sold them for really good money to when they're starting to race good again. And we're going to try to not do that again. That is going to be a situation I want to avoid moving forward. Now, you guys know the model that I've chosen moving forward. Numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way up into those condition claimant ranks. Then the horses can leave unless we are certain they are now better horses. You've seen J.K. Mickey Mantle struggle to make it into those condition races. You've seen Atlas Hanover struggle to do it. There's a horse that raced in the Little Brown Jug. Now, he might have been a long shot, but he raced in it. He's been a good horse. Took a mark of 50, paced 49.50, and it's like took a mark 51. Paced 50, paced 49. Has done all that, but has struggled a little bit in 2023. So I want everybody to recognize that moving forward, we're trying to keep the horses that have lots of paths in front of them and maybe move the ones on where those paths start to narrow until you get to that one path. We're going to continue to buy horses as we did. We bought Kings County and Patrick the Piranha. And Greatest Ending is going to be a nice horse for us. These are all horses that are going to do good for the stable. And they can bounce around the top end of the condition ranks. But that middle part of the condition ranks, I don't want those horses. They're hard to manage. They're hard. Once they get up too high, they get beat up. Once they get down too low, they just end up making their way back up. The down to top, it's fun. Getting them back down there is not. We see that struggle a little bit with White Tiger and with other horses. We're going to try and mitigate that the best we can all winter long. So this is a model that we have proven can and will work. You got to stick to the plan. So that is why Nothing But a Dreamer is in the sale on Monday. In fact, I guess I'll post this video after the sale on Monday. But this is why he was in the sale on Monday for a very good reason. Renegade Gypsy, I just said, raced really good. The only horse that I thought raced poorly last night was Rito's Lady. It's just a filly we got to work on. There's a very green-looking, very rough-looking maiden start. Not how we want our horses to go to the track. I talked to Dominic about that today. I said, school her a couple more times. Make sure she is on the straight and narrow before we put in another performance like that. And that'll happen, right? That will happen. Looked like she qualified well. Take her over to Flamborough. Everything seemed right to me. Seemed logical. But just looked like a very green, uncomfortable start for Rito's Lady. So we'll try and nip that in the bud for her next one. We're off to the races tonight with Easy in the Turns. And then we have all our horses racing all week. Personally speaking, now again, if I post this video after the sale, I don't believe we're buying anything out of the preferred sale, but there are 2 horses selling on Monday that I am keeping a very close eye on. We are going to try and replace the horses that we're selling, right? Not selling them to get rid of them and because we need the money. Always helps, but we are trying to replace the horses and get horses in again. Numbers of 1, 2, start over again, rinse and repeat. Numbers of 1, 2, 3, all the way up into numbers of 7. If they can't do it at that point, then we're going to move them on. and that's how we're going to continue to do business moving forward. So I hope everybody understands this wasn't a necessity. It wasn't I certainly love Nothing But a Dreamer. I think he's a nice horse. He's going to get in a tough spot very, very soon. So that's my 2 cents, my feeling on it. I thought it was worth talking about, and moreover to that, I wanted to talk to everybody about how proud I was of all the people and how everybody behaved when it came to the Citra issue and situation. I couldn't be any more proud, and I think sets the bar pretty high, actually, for a lot of the other people in the industry. So thank you again for allowing us to put our best foot forward here at thestable.ca. Take care.